The short story tells of a time, or this is set in the time when the woman's role in the society is of no role. That means the women don't have any role to play in the society, or they don't have any voice of their own. In viewers, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be a very short speech on Streer Patra, or the letter from wife, the wife's letter, whatever you may say, written by Rabindranath Tagore. Actually, this is a translation of a Bengali short story titled Streer Patra, and the title is the letter from the wife, or the wife's letter. Okay, so this is written in the 19th century against a Bengali, completely Bengali middle class backdrop, and where the protagonist or the main character is Mrinal, a woman. So if we go through the title, that means the Streer Patra or the wife's letter, the main thing is the wife. The wife is writing the letter, no? So what is or who is a wife? As per the different religious texts, or some scriptures, or certain religious books like Vedas, Upanishads, or Samhitas, especially the Manu Samhita, there is a clear-cut definition of who is a wife. Actually, there is the definition of good wife and bad wife too. So who is a good wife? Good wife is a woman who is married to her husband and performs the rituals, or exerts her role as per the will of her own husband. That means she must be the counterpart of her own husband. She is the left part of her husband, that is said in the texts. Actually, a good wife must reflect the imagination, must reflect the ideologies, the thought process of her own husband. She must not have her own reasoning or logic or certain things like that. Otherwise, she will be termed as a bad wife, no? So we are going to discuss this text in this light. That means Mrinal as a good wife or a bad wife. Actually, Mrinal from the very beginning is not at all a good wife. She is, we can say, quote unquote, a bad wife. She is not fulfilling the terms and conditions of the good wife. No, although the story, this story is set in the backdrop of 19th century middle class Bengali society, but the incidents is very much relevant nowadays too. Actually, in this text, the main character or the protagonist, Mrinal, is keeping the meaning of her name. What does the name Mrinal means in English? This is the stalk of a lotus, or the lotus itself. Actually, the stalk of the lotus is the proper meaning of the word Mrinal. So what is the work of this stalk? This actually holds the lotus. This actually helps to keep the beauty of a lotus. If the stalk of the lotus is very much weak, then it cannot hold the beauty, no? So very much like that, Mrinal is holding the beauty of feminism in itself. Obviously, I am saying the word feminism. Actually, these texts can be read as a feminist text, but obviously Rabindranath Tagore has not written this from the feminist viewpoint, but we can say that there is a strong element, strong string of feminism in this text. And why I am saying this? Because Mrinal, the main character of this short story, is given the voice. Actually, in our society, from the very beginning, from the Vedic period of time, actually we can say that there is no voice granted to the women. During this story, when we see Mrinal is giving refuge, she is giving shelter to a woman, to a girl named Bindu, she becomes the opponent, she becomes the voice for the submissives, the others, the marginalized. Why? Because Bindu is obviously the sister of her own elder sister-in-law, Mrinal's elder sister-in-law. But Mrinal's elder sister-in-law, her presence in the family is so poor that she cannot accept her own sister in the household. But at the same time, being no one to Bindu, Mrinal is doing the thing. Mrinal is showing the power to shelter Bindu. Actually, Bindu is a girl who has no one with her in this world. She has her parents already died. She has no property. She has no siblings. Obviously, she has a sister who is of no power in her own household, and at the same time she is crossing the age of her marriage. So at this juncture, Mrinal is giving her the shelter. That means she is supporting the woman. So why this is so much important? This is important because Mrinal is doing such things going against the will of her own family, own husband. That means her husband and her family is completely against keeping Bindu in their home. So they are plotting against this, and they are requesting Mrinal, and obviously they have exerted their power over her, but they are unable to force Mrinal taking her own actions. Okay, so we can say that she is completely an outspoken woman, completely a woman of her own free will. So this is why I am saying that she is not a good wife. But as a human being, obviously she has just passed all the cut marks, or we can say all the rankings. Okay, so this is the beauty of the character of Mrinal. At the same time, we can say that there are certain do's and don'ts for the women in our society, and we can term these as Lakshman Rekhas, which she should not cross. Otherwise, there are certain Ravanas or certain other things that can stigmatize her own character. So, in this light, we can say that there are too many do's and don'ts in that society, in the then society of the 19th century. But these limitations are still there in the present society. So, Mrinal, we can see that she is just breaking all these limitations and helping her, helping Bindu out of her own pity, or we can say out of her own sisterhood. Okay, so there comes the beauty of this character of Mrinal, that she is helping out Bindu. Then when we see that Bindu is married to a madman and she is fleeing from her husband's household and again taking refuge in Mrinal's home, Mrinal is not ready to leave her, but due to some unwanted reasons, some forces, she actually cannot hold Bindu in her family, and Bindu runs her from her home. But at the end, we can see that Bindu is committing suicide. At this juncture, we can say that is Mrinal becoming the puppet in the hands of the patriarchy? But after going through the entire text, that means after completing the text, we can see that no, she is not. She is not a failure. She has not failed before the hands of a patriarchy. Because while she is writing the letter to her husband, she is saying that I am turning down everything with you all. I am turning you down. I am turning the relationship down with my husband, with my husband's family and everyone. And she is devoting her life to the service of God. So here the point of triumph in her life comes. That means she is not allowing the patriarchy to have its power over herself. She is just an independent being, and she has her own will, she has her own voice, and very much like the lotus, she is holding the power of feminism in herself. And obviously the another meaning of Mrinal, that means a lotus, she is just glorifying her own beauty. Okay, so this is for today. Hope this speech will be of little help. If this helps you, then please give it a like, do share with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching this video.